welcome to Epiphytic Cacti. Today let's take a look at Schlumbergera.net. Here's a quote from one of the founders, Lee Goodfellow, on what the project is all about. This project started the summer of 2016 with the development of a Schlumbergera cultivar list. This rapidly expanded into the current ongoing work in progress. The goals of the project are to promote culture of the Rhipsalidopsis and Schlumbergera genera, provide a registry recording past and new cultivars, and to provide an informative cultivar and species resource for the public. The project was brought to the public by Lee Goodfellow, a longtime cactus collector, Schlumbergera hybridizer, and retired school teacher from Western Canada. He has collected cactus for over 50 years and started into Schlumbergera hybridizing in the mid-1990s. Andreas Hofacker is an ardent cactus collector and practicing lawyer from Germany who has been collecting for over 40 years. Ruud Tropper, a nursery owner, hybridizer, and computer aficionado from the Netherlands, has been collecting for over 40 years. Dr. Rudy Dorsch, a longtime cactus collector and retired surgeon from the United States, has been collecting since he was 11 years old. He likely wouldn't want to admit it, but he likely has close to 70 years experience with cactus. The late Dolly Colley from the USA and well-known Schlumbergera hybridist was a good friend to Rudy. She named an orange-flowered S. virginiae cross Rudy. Professor Yashin Bakimal was a retired epidemiologist who had over 40 years involvement with epiphytic cactus. He was a contributing co-author and a brilliant man, knowledgeable on disease, both human and plant. And Kay Cruz, a longtime cactus collector and web developer from Germany. He and his wife are ardent cactus lovers, especially the South American desert types. Altogether, it is safe to say that this group of collectors has over 225 years of experience. Let's take a look at the site. You can see that there is information, database, and registrations. There are some really great things here. If you look at the menus, we can see a Schlumbergera cultivars. If we click on that, you can see the searchable database. Let's search for one of my favorite queens, Phronie. And we see the hybridizer, we see the color. If you click on it, here you can see that we're actually taken to more information about this hybrid. There are some wonderful, absolutely gorgeous photographs. And then if you scroll down here, you can see a tabular display of basically information about the plant. If there is any parentage or anything like that, you'll see that listed there. You'll see the form. There's all kinds of wonderful information here. For the Rhipsalidopsis cultivars, you can see here you also have some menu options where you can look for a specific hybridizer. You can look for a specific type. You can look for a specific color. So if you were just really into, actually, let's see if there were any yellows. Oh, look at that. We can see here that it does say that there's a yellow Rhipsalidopsis. You can see the hybridizer. You can see the year it was named is in 2021, so that was fairly recent. Interesting. Learn something new every day. So that's kind of the database there, which is really, really interesting. And then you can get some other like general information here. You can see a lot of really, really amazing things. You can see the history here, which is really great. So, I mean, you can just go through and read all of these. This is actually probably my favorite place on the whole entire website would be the botanical species. You can go into the genus for Rhipsalidopsis. You can see, if we click on those, we'll get some really beautiful pictures, which is really great because you also have these wonderful historical documents for the descriptions and everything. I love to read those. And you can see the occurrence maps, synonyms. Here's my favorite. Is actually the pictures of the species, which I think is just absolutely fantastic. It's actually a little difficult to find really good pictures of this one. Absolutely wonderful. And the same thing here for the genus of Schlumbergera. You can see that it lists all of these, and I really, really, truly love to actually just kind of go through these species. Like Russelliana, I think is I think they're all wonderful species, but here again, you see these really interesting kind of descriptions, a little bit of the history, a little bit of the origin, the occurrence maps, there's historical information here, and again, my favorite, the pictures. I really love the pictures. I love these pictures. So this is really excellent because if you're really looking for like deep understanding and deep information for Schlumbergera and Rhipsalidopsis and the species, you can find a lot of that information here. You can look for like species classification, intergeneric hybrids. I really like this one, the dubious intergeneric hybrids. I don't know what that is. Statistics of the genus Schlumbergera. Oh, that's interesting. I like statistics. So I haven't even gone through the whole entire website because it's pretty large, but that's really interesting. And then here you can also do a registration. So if you want to register like a Schlumbergera or Rhipsalidopsis. So when we go through, you can see, there's basically like the registration information here. It shows you kind of like what's going on and how to do it. So you can do it electronically. You can include pictures here, and you've got the registration form that you can download as a PDF. Over on the right side there, you can actually see these featured downloads. And in the featured downloads, you can get the International Schlumbergera and Rhipsalidopsis list of species and hybrids, which is really fascinating, and it is literally a PDF. It goes through and basically has all of the information that you would expect from a registry. So that's really wonderful. And then there is also a Schlumbergera one. So if you're kind of like, geez, I wish I had a compiled resource where I can actually look to see the registration, the history, the lineage, all of that kind of stuff, it's definitely there. You get kind of an idea here. I actually really always love to sort of read about the hybridizers and just kind of the information about the hybridizers. I always think that's really fascinating. There you go. Here you can kind of see, like, if we look for something, ambrosia, you can see a registration number, the hybridizer, type, parentage, flower color, flower description, any description comments, or any reference. That is extremely useful. It is really wonderful to have a reference on hand. You can see you can also donate. So a voluntary donation can help support the site, which is wonderful. This is really interesting. Crosses with Schlumbergera microcepherica. That's really interesting. I've actually seen a few of those pictures, I think on Facebook, of the plants, which just looks super fascinating to me. Absolutely. Just, you know what? We need to click on that. I can't wait. We need to click on that. Isn't that flower super cool? And that growth habit is really interesting. How fascinating is that? And if you don't know, one of the reasons why some of these are so difficult in terms of like why we don't see a whole bunch of microcepherica crosses is because they're self-fertile. So in order to mitigate that, there was this really cool video that I saw that was about, basically you have to kind of remove the plant's ability to pollinate itself when it's so young, even before the flower opens and everything. So you actually do a little bit of surgery and remove all of the stamens so that it can't pollinate itself. It's really interesting. Absolutely wonderful resource for information. Thank you for watching, and happy cacti growing.